Let's talk Tanya for the 2nd of Sivan. In the last few days, we've discussed the concept that in every single world, the Shechina enters into the Kodesh HaKadoshim, the Holy of Holies of that world. And there's a system of worlds in every single world. The lowest level of that world is the Shechina of that world. And then that Shechina enters the world beneath it into the Holy of Holies of that world, which we identified as the Torah of that world. However, we explained that in the Beis Hamikdash, in the Holy Temple, and specifically in the first Holy Temple, there was a bypass, which means that the level of Shechina which was present in the Holy of Holies in the Holy Temple surpassed even the level of Shechina in the higher worlds. There was an incredibly intense and transcendent revelation of godliness in the Holy Temple. Now, that was the first Holy Temple. How about the second Holy Temple? The Talmud tells us that there were several things that were missing in the second Holy Temple, things that were there in the first Holy Temple, but were absent in the second. One of them, our sages identify as the Shechina. There was no Shechina in the second Holy Temple. So was there anything unique about the Holy of Holies of the second Holy Temple? And the answer is yes, obviously, because even in the second Holy Temple, access to the Holy of Holies was restricted to the Kohen Gadol, the high priest, and even that only once a year on Yom Kippur. There was still an intense holiness in the Holy of Holies, but what was that? So the Alter Rebbe explains in today's Tanya that the Kodesh HaKadoshim, the Holy of Holies of the spiritual world of Asiya, actually entered into the Kodesh HaKadoshim, the Holy of Holies, the physical Holy of Holies in Jerusalem. So therefore, the light that was present over there in the physical Holy of Holies was well beyond anything in this world, because we had the spiritual Holy of Holies of the world of Asiya, the spiritual world of Asiya, entering the Holy of Holies of our world, which is the physical world of Asiya. But that was the second Holy Temple. Today, we don't have that either. Where is the Shechina to be found today? So the Alter Rebbe cites a teaching from our sages which says that Mishacharav Beis Hamikdash, ever since the Holy Temple was destroyed, Ein lo LaKadosh Baruch Hu ba'elamei ela daled am mishal halacha. Where is God to be found? Where is the Shechina to be found? In the 4 cubits of Torah study, and very specifically in halacha. What does that mean? So here also, every time that we sit down and we study Torah, so Torah is God's wisdom. That is the Kodesh HaKadoshim. That is the Holy of Holies. The Shechina is present within us when we are learning Torah. But now this is the Shechina as it comes down all the way through the worlds. We're talking about the Shechina of the spiritual world of Asiya, what's called Malchus of Asiya, is there and present and enters any person who is studying Torah. And not only a person who is studying Torah, but also a person who is doing mitzvahs. Because ultimately the mitzvahs are the mitzvahs of the Torah. So we have something interesting. On the one hand, it seems that today, because we don't have the Holy Temple, we're in a much worse off state and situation than we were. Because back then, we had this incredible, intense light that entered, and during the times of the first Holy Temple, entered the Holy of Holies over there, a lesser light that entered the second Holy Temple, the Holy of Holies. And today, the light comes on all the way down into this world. That is true. But we have to remember, ultimately, it is the Shechina. Ultimately, this is the divine presence. And today, when we study Torah, where is that divine presence entering? It is entering our reality, our minds. We are studying. And when we are moving our lips when we study, it is entering our actions. When we do mitzvahs, we are actually bringing the Shechina into the physical and material reality of our world. So to a certain extent, we are accomplishing even more than what happened in the Beis Hamikdash. Yes, over there was the light, but the light entered the Holy of Holies and the ark that was there. Today, the Shechina, through us studying Torah and doing mitzvahs, is actually entering our experience and in a way creating the ultimate dira b'tachtonim, the ultimate dwelling place for God, because we're bringing God into our practical experience. In tomorrow's Tanya, we're going to wrap up this discussion. In tomorrow's Tanya, we're actually going to finish the first section of Tanya, the Likutei Amarim. We are going to answer a question that we asked in the beginning of chapter 51, which is, why are our actions called oil? We'll talk about that more tomorrow, and then we will conclude this section of the Tanya.